Welcome to our presentation on developing effective position descriptions. I'm Warren Rutherford, and this is part of our Smart Guide to Human Resource and Management seminars through our weekly Wednesday webinar series. Today's program is going to look at the legal requirements for job descriptions, how to develop a SMART description, engaging your employees with alignment to functions, and how you then look at that description and functional alignment. So let's begin. Legal requirements in the United States are many. So let's start with the most direct and straightforward. The American with Disabilities Act, as amended, Title I, requires employers to list out essential functions and provide reasonable accommodations. Those essential work functions may or may not be performed by a person who has or who acquires a disability. The Act requires employers to specify what essential functions are for each position and then describe the working environment in which the position performs. The Equal Pay Act, or the EPA, requires every person to receive comparable pay for comparable duties and responsibilities. Most often, these are the basis for performing job evaluation and factoring programs coupled with a compensation program. And the Civil Rights Act, specifically Title VII, simply put, requires, irrespective of race, color, religious creed, national origin, age, sex, disability or handicap, sexual orientation, political affiliation, military status, genetic information, or ancestry or other non-merit factor. These are prohibited except where the duties of the position require certain bona fide occupational qualifications. The ADEA, since 1967, has been enforced to prohibit employment discrimination against persons 40 years of age or older. That's right, 40 years of age or older. And the Fair Labor Standards Act, or FLSA, has an assumption that all positions are hourly and are entitled to overtime compensation. An FLSA test must be performed for all positions to determine if a position is exempt from the hourly and overtime provisions of the Act. I know it's a mouthful, but you need to know them. All right, let's go to developing a SMART job description. A thorough analysis of each employee's position can be used to prepare and update job descriptions, identify job qualifications, develop criteria for appraising employee performance, defining compensable factors for evaluating the relative worth of jobs, and to redesign jobs to enhance job satisfaction and employee productivity. If the steps listed above are performed effectively, the job analysis becomes the first step to ensure that we have a company position function fit. Pretty simple. You talk to our employees. That's how you go about doing it. We use a questionnaire because it's quite helpful in understanding the knowledge, skills, and abilities required for a person to perform a job. When an employee is in the position, they're often the best person to provide feedback on job requirements. The questionnaire uses information to elicit from the employee info in a variety of areas, including education, experience, judgment, confidentiality, and essential functions. Secondly, interviews are very important with us. After a draft description is developed, we get feedback and talk with the employee about their job role. Next up is performing a functional assessment of each employee to the position. We've discussed the job functions. Now let's look at the person fit to the job functions. When you're developing a position fit description, have you thought about the type of decision talents a person needs in order to be successful in the job? When you're hiring for the position, have you thought about the dominant thinking patterns the position requires and the attributes and strengths for the positions? As job functions become more reliant on worker knowledge, I've found it very important to develop a way to identify the thinking and decision-making patterns required for different job functions. As you go through the process, I think you'll understand this information will help you to develop a more effective alignment of the person to the position and to the company. Think position-person alignment and workforce alignment when you're going through this process. Next up is a functional profile analysis. Oftentimes it helps to perform a profile analysis of the job, especially if you want to identify specific talents and attributes required. The steps listed above and on the screen help to accomplish that task. When you develop a functional profile analysis, you're able to identify discrete decision attributes that are the source of the person and job fit success. When I do these, I'll develop a position-specific attributes index assessment to be completed for each position candidate if it's an unfilled job, and to each employee in a position if an existing position is there to help ensure the person matches the position. If you have an interest in talking to me about this, let me know. Next, we align employee strengths to the position function profile. This step assumes you know the strengths, the decision attributes, required of the position, and you know the strengths of the employees performing in the position. It also assumes that you have the ability to assign or realign certain position functions in order to make the job role more aligned with the employee's strengths. In summary, developing effective position descriptions starts with an understanding of those KSAs, the knowledge, skills, and abilities, and the attribute talent requirements for the job. Next, you need to engage employees in a position review process and consider using a formal factor evaluation process to ensure compliance with the law. Finally, look at doing a functional profile analysis to ensure there's a talent match to your candidates and employees to the position function requirements. Thank you for listening during this brief position description development overview. My name's Warren Rutherford. I'm available to chat with you further about your specific organizational needs, and I look forward to our chat.